Kathy and I said, we are here. And sometimes that says a lot for all of us. But this is November is National Alzheimer's Awareness Month. And as you notice, sometimes it takes me a little bit of thinking to get all of those words out. But with Thanksgiving around the corner and Christmas just several weeks away, I wanted Kathy to give us a few tips and ideas and really some concrete information on how we could help people in our family or people that you know that show signs of Alzheimer's and what we can do to help them.
Okay, thank you, Sue. The holiday times are so important for families, especially families and caregivers that are dealing with someone who has Alzheimer's disease. And it can be a very scary time, especially those first few holidays. As you know, my grandmother had Alzheimer's and she passed with the disease. My grandmother's house was the epicenter of the activities during the holidays. We structured our out-of-town visits around what was happening at their home. So the years that we had to make those changes were very difficult as a family to do it. What I would encourage folks to do is first and foremost, go ahead and look at that holiday schedule and see how we can simplify that. You can still have the family dinner. Does it need to be at Grandma's house in her kitchen with 45 people that bring in all of the things that 45 people bring in as a family? Maybe not. It's okay to change that location if need be. Okay. Many people with Alzheimer's will be more fresh in the morning or in the early midday. So you want to use that as a guide as to when to plan your activity. You do not want to have the most stimulating activity at their worst time. So there's going to be a lot of gifts that are opened and children that are running around and lots of ball games in the background. You really want to simplify that as much as possible. Then also look at the individual and use them as a barometer, use them as a guide. If they are beginning to show signs of distress, if their brow is furrowed, if they're agitated or they're wandering, then maybe it's time for Grandma to say goodbyes, and then we take Grandma back to her place where she's most comfortable, maybe back, you know, in a room where things can be a little quiet. There's a recliner, time for rest, or even back to her own home. So you want to be sensitive to that and structure the family activities in a way so that it's not overwhelming. Something as simple as blinking Christmas lights can be agitated to someone who has Alzheimer's. Again,
I would have never thought of that.
Well, and again,
but it makes sense.
Many times some people enjoy that. They enjoy the activity and the action. That can also be very agitative to someone as well.
I would think scary. It would be could be scary.
Right. If they're having problems, recognizing what's going on around them and feeling comfortable in that, then you'll want to just take note of that. And then support that caregiver. I cannot stress caregiver support enough. If Aunt Sally is the one that brings 5 out of the 7 dishes to the dinner, then it's okay for someone else to volunteer to make the green bean casserole. Will it be perfect? No. We still have not perfected my grandmother's macaroni and cheese, but we've tried, you know, and that's ultimately what matters. So we've got to help that individual caregiver, and this is the person that's not going to ask for help. You're going to have to just show up with a bag of groceries and say, I'm here to sit with Mom so you can go take a nap or so you can go take a shower.
I'm like you. I don't think you can emphasize enough the caregiver. And they do not need to be forgotten during the holidays. The time that they spend alone with that person too, stop by and visit. You may not be visiting grandmother who's sick or your mother who's sick. It may be just simply to visit that caregiver. And they are the person that might be keeping everything rolling in your family. I don't think there's really enough. You can't do enough for them, in my opinion. That's and right. That you really do need to think about them. This has been very interesting to me because it does make me look at the whole holiday season in a different perspective, because I don't like to give up tradition. I'm very steeped in it. And that would be very hard for me to say, okay, we've always had it at my mama's and we're going to have it at my mother's again because she isn't dead yet. That kind of thing. I feel like if you probably did decide to have it at your mother's or my mother's or however it goes, the simplifying of the meal would be huge.
Yes.
Huge, because all that hoopla oh my goodness, this is enough to drive you insane. Like you said, doesn't matter if you got Alzheimer's or not. But do be aware and remember the things that Kathy has pointed out to us through this series. I hope that you'll go back and look at it, review it. It stays archived on our site. So this may not be something that's touching you right now. It might be 6 months down the road and you think, I heard that on MageeNews News and now we're right in the middle of it. Go back to what Kathy said and look at it. Or call the mental health department. Contact Kathy Van Cleve. She lives right here in Magee. Her husband is the youth minister at the First Baptist Church. You can find Kathy if you need her. And you can find help if you need it. And again, it comes to asking for it. But I hope you will have happy holidays and that you will enjoy them and that you will treasure every moment that you have with your family. And I wish to each of you happy holidays. And you too, Kathy.
Thank you, Sue. You too.